Hi folks, this is your MWIS Fleeting View with the outlook into the weekend and beyond. It's the first day of April, but no fooling around with this forecast. It is a fine and settled outlook. High pressure is in charge. We will have a rather strong and gusty easterly wind across many places through this week. The chart for Wednesday has the strongest of winds across Wales and the Pennines in places through the daytime. Quite gusty, turbulent winds across the mountains, through some elevated passes and downslope toward the leeward western side of the hills. So do just be prepared for some quite gusty conditions in these areas. For the Highlands, generally lighter winds, a few gusty spots though, as a southeasterly coming across the hills. Broadly, it is a blue sky, sunny day across the mountains throughout, with just a few mist and fog patches possibly on some lower hill slopes and valleys first thing in the morning. Temperatures pleasantly warm in the sun, but feeling cool if you are exposed to that stronger wind. Onwards into Thursday, and that easterly wind will be strong again across Wales and perhaps more widely over the Pennines. A stronger easterly is going to be evident there, and even toward the southwestern parts of the Highlands around Arran, Loch Lomond, that easterly will be stronger on a Thursday. Again, a gusty wind across the hills here. Further north across the Highlands, a few gusty spots, but generally still under lighter winds. A few bits of patchy cloud may just roll across some hill slopes around the Pennines, perhaps Wales as well in the morning. That will disperse to be a generally sunny day once more. Just an area of rain toward the southwest of England may just give a few spots very locally toward the south of Wales. Otherwise it is another dry day. Best of warmth typically out toward the west. Onwards through towards late Thursday and Friday, just a greater chance maybe by Thursday evening of some of that rain just getting close to South Wales. Most of it is drawn away westwards, but overnight into Friday, just the risk of a little rain for a while. Friday daytime then again is going to be another day of a gusty easterly wind across the country, perhaps more widely even into Scotland across the Highlands. That easterly wind a bit stronger by this stage. It's a dry day again though. There will be some cloud banks in a few places, particularly in the morning, particularly eastern regions, but overall once more plenty of sunshine in that forecast. Feeling rather cool on those eastern hills from the Highlands down to the Pennines in exposure to the wind. Best of the warmest temperatures found toward the western side of Scotland. High pressure is due to stay toward the north of us into the weekend. This easterly wind pattern will continue. Again, feeling a bit cool on those eastern hills, warmer further west. We hang on to that rather strong and gusty easterly wind too. Strongest winds once more across England and Wales. Could just be a bit more in the way of low cloud drawn in from the North Sea by this stage, across the Pennines in particular for a few hours, and a bit more of a variable cloud and sunshine mix broadly I think by this time. It could just be that the higher tops in Scotland could be above a cloud layer at this stage. Some uncertainty on exactly the extent of cloud though that is drawn in from the North Sea. Generally it's a dry story with high pressure still very much in charge throughout the weekend. Looking at the big picture onwards from Sunday into the start of next week, and high pressure still very much dominates. Areas of low pressure and rain are away from us at this time. We still have that easterly wind across England and Wales in particular, lighter winds for the Highlands on Sunday. Once more there'll be some variable low cloud and fog banks in a few places, particularly further eastwards, but generally it's dry with sunshine for many, and temperatures still pleasantly warm in that sun. Looks as though we have lighter winds early next week as high pressure just expands further out over the top of us and takes away that easterly wind flow that will have prevailed for a good number of days. Overall, high pressure is expected to stay on the scene for a few further days next week. Some uncertainty once we get a bit further ahead, but indications are still looking pretty promising for that settled spell of weather to continue well onwards through that next week ahead. Looking at the pressure pattern averaged out over a week at a time, and that's the 7 days up until the 14th of April, and shows the orange colours with higher than average pressure still around our part of the world. Low pressure away toward the east, just a chilly and northerly coming around Scandinavia. We might just see an influence of that for a while, but doesn't look to be directly pulling that northerly over the top of us. So still, overall, it's a quiet weather spell through that time. The signal further forwards through mid-April, that's the 7 days, 14th to the 21st, is a weaker signal from the forecast models. We still have a suggestion of higher than average pressure just toward the northwest up towards Iceland, and low pressure areas generally away from us. The blue colours are not directly over us, but we've gone in sort of betwixt and between on the weather pattern, so not the strong signal for high pressure by that time. So there will be the risk of some April showers falling as the pattern may just shift somewhat, and we could just allow that chillier northerly airflow out of Scandinavia to get into the mix, at least for a time. Further forwards though, and the orange colours reappear on the map for the final week of April, and dry and settled conditions would exist in that sort of pattern. A long way off to promise the details, but still looks a promising outlook. All your local information, as ever, can be found for 3 days ahead on our website. That is your fleeting view. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.